Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching the show anywhere else but within our private community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We definitely love to have you. And that group was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting to that 6 and that 7-figure level. So if that's you and you want to be a part of an awesome community, then definitely come check us out. Again, the name of the community is called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Tao Rebecca Mickelson. Welcome, Tao. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this.
Awesome. So you have 3 names. I just mentioned 3 names. Which one do you go by? Tao, Rebecca? Which one? Just Tao?
Tao.
Yes. Okay, awesome. What's the origin of the name?
Well, I'm Danish, living in Denmark, but the name is not Danish at all. It's kind of, a dad who wanted something different, something special, something short. So it's kind of, it's a formula in math. It's an island somewhere. It's philosophies. It's all kinds of stuff. But
Love it, love it.
But it's mine.
Yeah, I like it. So tell us, what is it that you do?
I am you can call me a holistic life and business coach. What I do is I help people live vision-driven lives instead of condition-driven lives. And if you wonder, what does that mean? Then most of us, we live a life where we look at conditions when we decide, what would I want? We look at what do I think is possible? And then we create a life within that frame. What do I think is possible? If you are vision-driven, you ask yourself, what would I love? And then you go do that. Because you can really do whatever you want, but you have to be very clear on the vision. And whatever it is, what do I love? What would I love? Or what do I think is possible? Then that is what you can actually do. And of course, it's a lot more than just having a vision, a clear vision, exploring and discovering what you would love. It's also, once you have a clear vision, you also have to look into, so how do I sabotage myself? Because as humans, we tend to sabotage ourselves a lot and make it really hard for ourselves to move in the direction that we actually want to go. So we have to look at our patterns, our beliefs, a lot of things, and change those in order to actually move forward. So that's what I do.
Yeah, awesome. And what got you interested in this line of work?
I've been kind of exploring this for myself for some years, and then I had some really huge changes in my life, some big difficulties actually, and many times our longings and our dreams they come from discontent. So I had this really big discontent, and then I kind of stumbled upon the opportunity of I stumbled on dream building. That's the certification that I have from Brave Thinking Institute, Mary Morrissey's Brave Thinking Institute. And it's just sort of put a structure to it all and just really talk right into all the things that I was going through and all the tools that some of them I knew, but I wanted to know more, and it also presented me with a lot more tools and insights. So when I discovered this, and I also discovered that you could actually become a coach, I just felt like this is for me, because I was part of my discontent was that I was discontent in the job that I had. I knew that I was not making the impact that I wanted to. So this just really embraced the whole, the change and the direction that I wanted to go in. So that's why I decided to become a coach.
Yeah, awesome. And you said, what's it called? Like you said, dream building?
It's called Dream Builder. It's I don't know if you know Mary Morrissey. No, she's kind of on the level with like Bob Proctor and people like that. And she has this Brave Thinking Institute. She's been working with transformation for the past 40 years. She's been working with Dalai Lama, coaching world leaders. She's really, really wise and has many years of experience. And she's put together this program, Dream Building, that kind of, as I said, it puts a structure to. It's not really because there's anything new. We all coaches, we use, all religion, philosophies, psychology. So there's nothing really new under the sun, but it's kind of how you the how you put it into a structure, how you make sure that you come from where you are to where you want to be, and what are the different steps that I need to take within in order to move in the direction that I want to go. And this just really has a beautiful structure, and it really comes around so many important issues that you are really dressed to go where you want to go
Hmm.
afterwards.
Yeah, awesome. And that's ultimately what you also help your clients with as well, right?
Yes, this is what I help my clients with. I help them. Some of them, they don't even have a clear dream, a clear vision. So the first thing is to explore. So what would I really love? Because we're not really mm, the world we live in. We're taught, to look at the conditions. So what do I think is possible? So this is how most of us live, and we're not really happy. So the first step is to have a look, and yeah, and explore. So what would I actually love if everything was possible? If I didn't have to think about, do I have the money, or do I have the education, or the age, or the height, or whatever it is? What would I love? And then yeah, uh, get the tools and the mindset to actually go and do that. And it needs you need to make a lot of changes. It's really an inner journey that you need to be ready to go on. And this is how I help my clients, to to become co-creators of life, really. So instead of it's life kind of living you, because you're just running behind, trying to get all ends to meet, then suddenly you become aware that you can actually put yourself in the driver's seat and be the one designing your life, be the one paving the road, and making and going exactly where you want to go. And that's very new for most of us. So it's very empowering. It's very mm, it's amazing to discover that you can be this co-creator, and also discover that you have all it takes. You have all the power within you, and it's much more powerful than whatever is outside of you. Much more powerful than any circumstance. And you also discover that you are courageous, and then you can change, and you can decide, and you can also decide how you let life affect you. You can also decide how you I need the words sometimes, and you have to excuse me because I am Danish, so English is not my native language. But you have the power to decide how you God, that word is just I'm just missing that. When something happened around you, we have this feeling that it's happening to me, but you actually have the power to decide how you let it affect you, and that's also very powerful to to navigate in life, knowing that whatever happens, I have the power actually to choose how it affects me, and what I do with it. I can make it affect me negative or kind of positive or neutral, and that's also very powerful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And that's so important, right? The way we see life. Most individuals approach life just as far as being a victim. Like everything's like, why did this happen to me? Or why? All of these
Yeah,
different things. And
yeah.
I know my perspective, because I definitely study some similar stuff as well too. And
Mm-hmm.
I think about my perspective today while you were speaking, as far as saying, hey, you got to decide basically what things mean, right? We give things meaning. And I know of myself, one of my coaches, they had me create some type of recipe. It was like making some pineapple shake or something with some like ginger in there. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went out, bought the pineapples, got the ginger, got everything in there. And it was like, I made it, got everything blended. I took like one sip of it, and then I set the jar on the counter, and I turned around and I just knocked the whole thing over. It was like, what is happening? But at the same time, I kind of watched how I responded to it. And it was just like, for me, it was one of those places where in the past I would be like angry, like why is this, like, what's going on? And get all frustrated. But today it's just like, it happened for a reason. I'm not sure what the reason was, but it's most likely there's something good that's going to come out of it, right? So I believe just
Exactly.
really come from a place of life
Mm.
when life shows up instead of coming from a place of it affects you. It's like more kind of like taking responsibility for how you respond, right?
Yeah, and also, and again, you just said this. It's probably for the best. There's something good in this, and that's also an approach to life. You can mm, be grateful not just for the good things, but also try and be grateful in the more difficult situations. You you knock over this pineapple thing, and you could get frustrated, you could get angry, but you could also, I don't. This is not the best example, but you might get knocked over in love, for example,
Mhm.
knocked down, and then you might you can just go down with it and be really sad and frustrated, and kind of life is stopping. But if you practice, being grateful in whatever difficult situation, you can start to have just a tiny bit of a corner opened for the curiosity of, okay, so what is the good in this for me? Is there something I have to learn? Is there something that yeah, whatever, that will make me grow? What is it? And if you have that approach, just a tiny bit of kind of hope or curiosity, then it changes the whole feeling. It's bad, whatever you're in. It's not nice to get your heart broken, for example. But again, if you just keep that slight, the tiniest possibility of something positive, then it kind of makes it, gives it more perspective. So you're not just the victim. There's also something good in it, even though I might even not know what it is. I'm kind of curious, to discover what will it be, and that's empowering instead of just being the victim. Um, so that's just a small tool, a small mindset change, but it's very uh, effective, really.
Yeah, awesome, love it. So are you doing this type of work full time? Are you working with clients and
Yeah.
everything full time?
No,
Yeah,
I do it full time. Yeah.
awesome. So how did it happen for you? How did you make the shift where you're working full time and then you quit your job to get into doing this?
Well, I'm the kind of person that I did it the opposite. I quit my job and then I did it. And it
Mhm.
was pretty hard to begin with. So I didn't do it the most uh, kind of sensible way where you slowly build up and then quit your job. I quit my job because I knew that this was not making me happy. It was not creating any good energy. So I just started this coaching business, and it was really hard, and I was not making money to begin with, because I also knew that I had to give it time. It had to grow. There were so many things that I had to learn. One thing is, being a coach and getting the experience of coaching and becoming a good coach. That was one thing, but the hardest thing actually was really how to learn how to sell. And I knew that was going to be the hardest thing for me, because I could have this great I give these free strategy sessions, I call them, but many coaches do that. We give a free session, and then you sell. So I had all of these sessions, and every time we came to the selling part, it's just like, it had been so nice, and then it became the whole energy really became really really bad, and it just didn't happen. I just couldn't do it because it felt really wrong for me. I felt like I was ruining the whole relation we were having. It's like, ah, but at the same time, I knew this was my issue. So I just lined up like 50 strategy sessions and knew, okay, I just have to practice. I just have to practice and find out what is my way. How can I, change it from feeling just pushing this, down the throat, to into a situation where I feel I'm really bringing a gift. And it's not for me, it's for you.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy, to be able to share this with you and give you this opportunity. And it took time,
Mhm.
but it happened.
Yeah.
So it took some time to get, to start getting the clients and getting the business running, and it was really really hard. But I knew it. I also knew that for me, I had to. If I had the security of another job, then I really wouldn't do all the hard stuff. I wouldn't, practice as much selling, because I would still have the other job, so I didn't really, really, really have to.
Mhm.
So that's just how I work. I knew that I would have, the knife to the throat in order for me to actually go out and do the things that I thought was difficult.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is how I work.
Yeah, I love it, love it. Yeah, and I know for me, it's been the same thing on my own journey as well too. I started back in like 2013, um, but in terms of the selling wise, you're definitely right about being the money issue. And I know for
Yeah.
myself, yeah, I think the first couple of years, because I thought, because I struggled so bad in the beginning as well too. I'm like, why is it like, what's going on? Why am I struggling so much? And then I realized at some point there was something like there was some unconscious process within me that was very resistant to taking the money or to getting the money. And I think my shift, the way I made the shift was to really come from a place of how do you call like aligning with the frequency of money, realizing that money it's just an energy, and it's coming from a frame of, okay, the universe, like you have to accept it, you have to be open to it because it wants to come to you, it wants to be attracted to that type of energy. And I think that's one of the biggest shifts. There's a few things, but that was one of the biggest shifts I made, is to allow the money to come to me and not resist it. I'm not
Yes,
sure if that makes any sense,
exactly.
but yeah, when you get to a point of
No,
just
it does.
allowing it,
It does.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I,
Go ahead.
this is also one of the things that I teach, and one of the things that I'm practicing myself every day. Because one thing is, knowing it. We might know it in our head, like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's energy and all that. It doesn't necessarily mean that we just, can change how our whole body react, because money is like, oh, it's lack, and if I give you something, there's less for me, and oh no, and so it's all. I might know it's energy, but it doesn't from in the beginning it did not feel like the same energy as because everything is energy. So giving an ideas are energy, love is energy, everything is energy. But when you give love or ideas, you don't feel like you when you give something you get a lack, or there's just less for you, or but it's not the same with money. We don't feel the same with money. It takes a lot more practice, but this is really
Hmm.
interesting because I truly believe that it is energy, and I know that it is. We have to take responsibility ourselves, because if we don't have money in our lives, well, it's because I'm blocking. It's not
Yeah, yeah,
because they don't want to pay me. It's because I'm blocking. So,
exactly.
but it's hard,
Yeah.
when
Well,
you
yeah,
know that everything is your own responsibility. But it's also good because you can
yeah,
change
yeah,
it.
yeah, but I don't think it's hard though. I think it's because I realize there's a place where you get to, right, where, because just like I remember interviewing some person, and I realized they were very, very focused on end results. And for them, if you talk to them about they don't care about they just care about the end result. And I realized, like, holy goodness. So for them, everything is easy because they just focus on the end result, and everything just lines up. But I think that if you, the thing that makes it hard is if you kind of try to figure out what the process is. Whereas I believe that if you just focus on, okay, what's the end result? What does that look like? All of a sudden it just happens, right? And I think for me, my own shift with the money, what made it really difficult for me at first was, again, I was focused on why I need to do the selling, all these different things to get the money. But I mean, I shifted into saying, okay, well, instead of me just number one, aligning to the money, but then knowing that, okay, the reason why I'm getting money is because I'm going to add value to someone's life, right? Meaning that I'm going to add value to their life. They're going to, because I know that I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, and I have advice, I have information, I have knowledge that they could benefit from. So I think what really made it to where it just didn't become, it wasn't difficult for me anymore, was just the perspective of saying, okay, well, money is just an energy, meaning that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just value. That's all it is. And the second thing is knowing that you could deliver, knowing that you could actually help the person, knowing that whoever gives you the money, like just by them being in your presence is good enough. That's a beginning, because just by them seeing, okay, I'm going to give you the money, just by you being there is good enough. And something I did for myself as well too, because I remember when it really shifted for me, where I saw one of my mentors, they had me say, hey, what do you want? And I kind of remember drawing an image of myself, because that was a big thing for us. We just drew like whatever we wanted, instead of like thinking about it or writing out. We just drew the picture. And then what I remember drawing was like a whole bunch of happy faces. I think I probably got to a point where I was drawing like every single day, like just myself and not a thousand, but a couple of hundred happy faces, happy faces, happy faces, of just me realizing that all these people have given me money, and it just feels so good because they've given me the money, and just by me being there, just by me supporting them, it just feels so good, and they're just so happy. They're getting awesome results, all these different things. And next thing you know, when I started, whether it's doing the calls or it's doing the different things, when I got in the situation for the money, it didn't, there was no type of resistance anymore. It just felt like, okay, this person is there. They wanted to see if I could help and let me create the vision I've already kind of practiced, right? Which is there's a whole bunch of people I've kind of drawn, like got the mental condition, which is there's just a whole bunch of people who've given me money and they're just so happy. They're so successful. They're getting the results. They're doing all these different things. And once I got that perspective, all of a sudden that hard thing became, hey, let's get to, let me figure out what you're trying to do. And let me see if I can help. If I can't help you, I'll tell you how much our program costs. I'll tell you what it is, and we could see what we could do together. And it more came from a place of I didn't feel like I was selling anymore because I knew that whatever experience was going on, that conversation we're having there, that was the thing, right? That was the thing I've practiced, which is if they do decide to move forward and say I'm gonna invest the money, that's the best thing they could ever do because their life, everything is gonna be different, right? So that's when it kind of shifted for me to where it wasn't hard anymore. It just became like I guess so in my perspective, it just came to reality because I practiced it so much, like drawing myself and drawing the happy faces. All of a sudden, it just manifested, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's not, I also made that change of it doesn't feel difficult selling anymore. But what my point was before was really that that for us as humans, when we want to change things, it's not necessarily enough to understand what we have to do in our mind or with our
Mm-hmm.
in our head, kind of. Because it's like if you have had stress, and you might know that I don't have to have stress anymore, or PTSD, whatever. I'm not in war anymore, but it doesn't mean that your body won't react if you hear a sound or something. So you cannot always control how mind and body. It doesn't necessarily communicate or understand each other. So what my point was really just that when we work with ourselves, then one
Mm-hmm.
thing is to understand. Another thing is we have to find ways to practice and discover, so what will work for me, how can I let this money, this fear of not having enough money, or how can I let go of this fear of not being loved, or how can I, because not necessarily enough knowing that this is good for me, I also have to get it into my body. So it's just, and as you said, there are loads of great tools and ways to do this, and as long as you're willing to practice, you can absolutely do it. And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it takes time because it's really kind of in your cells. So it takes some work to change those cells, but you can change them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it, love it. So in terms of where you've gotten to with your level of success you've created in your business stuff, what would you say is the one skill you've mastered that got you to where you are today?
I'm a really good coach, and I
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe I know I'm a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so it's absolutely no kind of insecurity there, because I truly I know that I'm changing people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I'm making such an impact. I'm making an impact in my own life. I'm changing my own life, and I'm really good at helping other people. So this is, so the believing the oh God, I get the word, the experience of becoming, or awareness of, I'm a really good coach. It gives me, peace and energy, and where I'm coming from is really from my heart. I'm able to come from my heart without any, sabotaging myself. Am I good enough? And of course, a client and the other end can hear that, feel that. You need to feel in good hands, and you need to feel that I'm a good guide for you as a client. So that, and then the selling part, being able to sell, that has changed a lot. And when that being said, of course, you also have the whole, you have to. One thing is, I'm a good coach, but if nobody knows it, well, I won't really get any clients. So of course, it's the whole thing of, how do I get the clients? How do I approach them? Where are they? Is it online? Is it all those things? So it's kind of a lot of things that makes the whole everything come together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Awesome, awesome. Now, what about let me see, habits wise, are there any habits you practice consistently that you found that kind of helped you get to your level of success?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if this is what you mean, but a habit in order actually to be a good client, a good coach, is every single time I'm having a client. Yeah, I have a client. I always meditate for before that, so I am present and I'm just there for that person. I don't have all my other things going on. I'm really present and I'm here for you, and that makes a huge difference. Because if I don't do that, I can, I'm also, I also have a life and things are going on. So that's really, really important. So that every time I deliver, if you can say it like that, but I'm really there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a practice that I always do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was what you meant.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. Awesome. So we're kind of running short on time, but if someone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to connect?
Actually, my website, Heart Coaching Center. Yeah, that's what I my coaching business is called Heart Coaching Center. And if we had more time, I would tell you why, because that's part of my big dream and what it's gonna uh, develop into. But heartcoachingcenter.com, and there you can find so many buttons you can press on. Book a free strategy session. There's also contact info and everything, but you can read more there and you can contact me. I would love to get in touch for whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a
Okay.
good way.
So yeah, in that case, so tell us tell us the reason behind why you named it then.
It's because my big dream, and I was really aware of that when I had to find a name for my business, because I was like, I want to be a coach, but I want more than that. I want to create this this place. It could be virtual, it could be real, but a kind of a community, a center where more people than people that are working with personal growth, where we share. We can, when I have, when I invite people in, clients, there are more. It's not just me. It's there are so many brilliant people out there who can teach us all so many good things. And I want to be kind of you're doing now in your way. You're interviewing all of us, but this is another way of creating a place that's much bigger than me. Helping people to grow. Yeah. So when I started as just one little person, I didn't even have a client. I was like, okay, if I want this to happen, I need to have a clear vision and I need to, own it. So I'm gonna call it kind of this huge company name. This is me. All right, this is what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Yeah,
story.
that is awesome. I love it. I love it. I love the vision as far as like coming to a cause bigger than ourselves, right? Because typically when most individuals get started, it's just yourself and you just want to just make a few bucks to pay the bills and do all these different things. But eventually, I believe that if once that vision is there, it's definitely something that could just move on and really change the world once you do start including and collaborating with other people as well too. Awesome. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
love it, awesome. Well, with that being said, and guys, if you're watching this interview, whether it's on the live or on the replay, I'll definitely have all the links that Tao shared here today to be able to contact her. So if you're interested, be sure to click on the link and reach out to her. Awesome, so Tao. So with that being said, thank you again. Do you have any final words before we end for the day here?
Just know that we are all special. Everybody's awesome, and we can all do whatever we want to do. And also remember that's why you are here on earth. It's really to do what you love, what you're passionate about, because when you do that, that's where you have the impact on your own life, but also in other people's lives. And that's really the most important thing, to have a footprint and do something special. And following your heart would be a really good guidance for you to knowing if you're on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, love it, love it. Well, hey, thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Okay.